Okay, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and this thing says I'm on now and I'm on live. So, the subject of this whole thing is about the explosion and the burst of paranormal. There's a lot going on, and the explosion of all these paranormal investigators, this stuff is exploding. I've been an investigator for like 5 years now, and just what's been going on, man, it's within the last couple of years, it's all over. It's, geez, you can't even watch a TV show now. Between the Travel Channel and Discovery America, man, all they got is paranormal investigator stuff. And also along with that, it's all over Facebook, it's all over YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. It's exploding, and also because of the technology and stuff, paranormal has changed a lot, and these TV shows are just getting ridiculous. I say the first, oh, by the way, you can send me messages and everything if you want. Let me see a text. Please, if I can spell the word right. Critique. Queustin or all you like, as well as questions. So now I got that started, and so on these paranormal TV shows and everything, explosion, I'm stating everything and all information that I'm putting out is based on my experiences and being a paranormal investigator, and watching the shows and YouTube and Twitter accounts and all that. I've got it all, but except I don't have Instagram. Anyway, so I will point the first ones out as about 2003 was the Ghost Hunters, or sometimes known as TAPS. They were the first, and then I guess it just exploded after that. But the main purpose of this one, and sometimes I'm even getting messages. So sometimes it has gotten ridiculous. It used to be, from the beginning ones, it was a paranormal investigator. You walked in, and yeah, they did their facts and stuff, and they did a lot of Hollywood drama that was really ridiculous. But they did a lot and helped out for paranormal investigators and showed the world a lot of what was going on. And by the way, it's not exploding just in the United States. It's all over the country. I mean, a lot of us are getting comments on our YouTube videos from all over the world, as well as these Facebook things that I'm doing now. Which, by the way, this is one of the newer ones I'll be getting into shortly. But paranormal investigator has changed a lot in the last couple of years, simply because the technology has changed a lot. So, going on with these TV shows, I just think they've just gotten ridiculous. Sorry, Amy Allen and your Dead Files, but you're ridiculous. I cannot see how anybody, any professional adult at all, can walk in and just see all this. I talk to dead people. Okay, you want to do your for entertainment only and stuff, okay, fine, great. But telling people that they have to move out of their house because they're hearing some strange things, that's ridiculous. And it's also very child and immature of your station to do that. You used to have to have people move out of their houses. A lot of these guys, I'd say probably, in my opinion, the most advanced, and at first they were pretty ethical and professional, but they've just turned into 100% drama queens. But it really doesn't matter if you're a drama queen or not, simply because it's entertainment and you're making a lot of money. And I'm talking Ghost Adventures. Ghost Adventurers, the thing I can give him and Zach, number one, man, talk about drama queens. But they're always ahead of state of the art in their technology and their techniques and stuff. So I'll give them the pluses and the minuses, but it seems as like all these TV stations and everything, they've left the professional and being someone believable to just for entertainment only. It's really getting ridiculous. And then you got these all new ones. Man, it seems as though these TV stations, they'll bring one up, it flops, and they'll bring up another one just to take its place. And they just haven't found the niche. And the newest generation of these paranormal stuff, which has really gone completely ludicrous, is these newer television shows, Paranormal Case Files, I think one of them is, in which somehow they're getting their stupid stories from somebody, anybody, you or me. Anybody can write a story and say, hey, this is what happened to me. I got ghosts. And then what they'll do is they'll interview you, then they'll bring you in, and their writers will listen to your story, and then they'll put their own bells and whistles into it so that it sounds more dramatic and more for entertainment. And that's what it is. These aren't paranormal shows. These aren't I wouldn't even say so much as even saying real. I think they're all faked and they're just nothing but a bunch of jokes. But they interview the people, whoever were involved in the particular situation, which is only a few minutes into, so they'll pack 2 or 3 of these in one 30-minute show, and then they'll rewrite them, and then you can even tell when they're interviewing the subjects that it's all scripted. It's not what really happened. It's what those writers of that TV station told them to say. And then what's even worse is they don't even use the real people that was involved in the situation. If you've got the people who went through it, why are you hiring actors and actresses to play their parts? So they'll say what happened, and then they'll switch to an actor and actress, and then they'll replay everything that they think happened. And it's just gotten honey. Okay, nevertheless, it seems to be doing pretty good because there's more and more of them. They keep on putting them up. So I guess they're for good television, but they're for good TV. It's just that simple. It's just entertainment. It's not as a paranormal investigator. Okay, no questions or anything yet so far. If you have any questions or anything, please type it in, or any comments. So the other thing is the technologies. Paranormal investigator, that world has changed so much, and I got a bunch of notes of stuff I want to go through. So in the last, I'd say 3 years, the whole world of the paranormal investigator has changed a lot, only because technology has changed and prices have changed. Equipment and technologies that we have now wasn't even available or was too expensive just 2 or 3 years ago. And so now, instead of going around with a Polaroid camera and a Walmart, some of these people, like I said, man, you can be a paranormal investigator and you can spend as much as $0 and just use your cell phone to do your thing. Then you can turn around and you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars for all these sensors and recorders and audio and video and all that kind of stuff. You can really go crazy. And they got this newer technology, which is, I say, it's pretty new, but it's even a lot newer to me because I didn't have access to it. Is that live stuff. Now these investigators are starting to do live, and it's also on television. The Tennessee Race Chasers have done it a couple times, in which they've done live 4, 5, 6 feed, and you can go online to their Facebook website and not only see what the cameras and the film crew want you to see, but you can tap into their actual video cameras that they have in different areas of the site that you're doing the investigation on. And believe me, it's pretty new. Facebook now, they have, of course, their live feeds. YouTube now has live feeds. Now, the only thing where it really makes it new to me was, in the past, I've been a strong Windows fan. and I haven't been able to do live paranormal investigations because having a phone and being a Windows fan definitely has its minuses, which has gotten a lot worse. So even when they started the technology to being able to go live, I couldn't because that capability wasn't on a Windows 10 phone. So anyway, push came to shove, and the day finally came. I said I had enough. So Windows has shut itself down, and now you have to have either an Android or an iPhone. That's your only choices. So I went and bought myself a new one. So I bought a new phone. And this is the Razer Phone 2. And it's very fast phone, very powerful. And I can now do live paranormal investigators when I go out. So from now on, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking about even going back to some of the investigations I've done in the past and go through again and go on live for a little while just so you can see some of the stuff that goes on. And another thing I want to bring up too, if anybody in the background sees anything going on with me, we've had some strange goings on in this house lately, and I have a wide angle camera, webcam, that I'm recording from now, so you can see pretty much a lot of it. There's been some things, doors shutting and opening in here. So if you see any shadows or anything, I'm the only one in the house, and there's nobody else here. I'm all alone. So if anybody sees anything or hears anything while I'm running my mouth, let me know. So, because that's another thing about the world of a paranormal investigator. This is what they tell you. When you do a paranormal investigation, any place, when you've finished and you've ended up, and you want to call it an end, there's there's something you have to go through. Now I'm at a total blank and can't remember what the word is. But it's a series of things you have to do when you're finished. And the idea behind that is, if you are in a house and there is any spirits attached or haunting that particular area that you're doing the investigation, as a paranormal investigator, what these entities can do is they can either follow you or they can attach themselves to you, which next thing you know, you have brought them to your own home. So after I found out about that, I started doing that. Oh my goodness. It's a series of statements and stuff you have to say, and you got to do the sage thing and stuff, telling that whatever spirits are in that particular area you're doing investigation, that they have to stay where they're at, and no, they cannot follow you home, no, they can't attach yourself. Well, I guess there's a couple times where I might have slipped and not done that, and there is a small chance. I haven't caught anything positive yet, but lately there's been some strange things happening inside the house. As a matter of fact, I now have purchased a couple security cams and placed them in different places inside the house to see if I can actually catch some of this stuff on recording or sound. They're infrared cameras, and they've also got motion detectors, and I can access them on my cell phone, so I can be sound asleep and I hear something strange or whatever, and I can pick up my cell phone and I can look at all the cameras that I have in the house. Anyway, returning back to what I said before, we've got all these television shows, and now some of them are actually going live, which it's a pretty good thing. But one of the things that's always amazed me on some of these drama queen paranormal investigators, you're there trying to find out if in fact there's a spirit or an entity in the house, and if so, get some information, record it, audio record it, video record it, take a picture or whatever. Well, if you hear a strange sound, you don't scream like a little girl and run the opposite direction. Like, what's with that? What the hell? So I've always thought that was really kind of funny and stupid, and also quite childish. But again, all these points that I bring out to the negative really doesn't matter, because for the most part nowadays these paranormal shows are for entertainment purposes. So, like again, Ghost Adventures, I think it's season 10, and they're still going strong. So, as far as that, my opinion is concerned, it doesn't matter as long as people enjoy it, and it's got one heck of a following. There's millions on YouTube. They've got millions of followers on Facebook, on Twitter. So hey, it's a lot of people follow them, so it's good stuff. The worldwide fascination for the paranormal is just peaked big time. Anybody, I mean, go ahead and do your own thing, searches on Twitter, do your own searches on YouTube. There's millions of YouTube videos on the paranormal of all of these people from different walks of life and with different mix of equipment. Like I said, you can become an investigator and go through a place and use your cell phone. It does have an audio recorder in it. You can take pictures with it. You can take video. As far as credibility, nah, not too much. If you're going to do that, it's going to do it for the fun of it. Enjoy yourself. Maybe you might pick up something, maybe you're not. But the thing to remember is something like, and if you want me to in a later date, I'll go into why. It's technical about the way that cell phones work and how they're programmed and stuff. But as far as credibility, there's no way you're going to walk up to any kind of a professional investigator with the proper equipment and say, look what I found, and he'll be able to blow you out of the water. It's simple. Simply because of the way cell phones are. Now, on my equipment, what I do is I don't even believe my equipment. So what I do every time I do an investigation, just like some of these others, I don't sit there and do a recording for 3 or 4 minutes and then stop and press the button on the recorder and listen back. I think that's also very childish myself. And again, these are my opinions of credibility and professionalism as far as being a paranormal investigator. The 35, an inexpensive audio recorder can do a pretty good job of picking up some good EVPs and stuff, but remember, they're not that expensive, and you've got a speaker on the end of it that probably cost the manufacturer maybe 3 cents a piece. So you can't record and turn around and play it back. It's just, so what I do is I do my recordings, and after my recordings I come back, and this particular computer that I'm talking on right now is a workstation that I built myself just for this kind of work. And that's one of the things that I liked about Ghost Hunters, or sometimes called TAPS, is that they had that big van. That was a nice setup, in which they had a nice professional setup, a good full-blown computer that did the job right, and they could bring in all of their pictures and their recordings from audio and video and bring it in on a proper setup so you can see, so everybody can see and hear what's happening properly. And that's what I do here. I bring it into my computer here, and then I'll go through, I've got software on the computer for audio analysis. I got some for video analysis, as well as for pictures and stuff. So you can go in and take a look at the finer points of what you're doing, which on these newer ones, when you do these recreations, oh, I saw a ghost and it looked like this and you look like that, and they do a recreation of a actor or an actress, and they put somebody in a costume to try to do the best that person. I'm like, oh man, that's a joke. So let me see. So that's my biggest peeve about all this stuff, and hopefully trying to bring out some information that you probably didn't know about beforehand. And the thing is, there all these. Ooh, what was that? Well, another thing to understand too, and I'm sure all of you, particularly if you're in a house out in the middle of nowhere, or if you're in an apartment complex or something like that, when you're the only one in the house and you're going to bed and all the TVs are off and you're getting ready to fall asleep, that's when you hear all the little cracks and cracks and groans and stuff. This house here, I think it's 40, 50 years old, and yeah, it's this thing here is always grumbling. There's always noises coming out of this house. So if somebody's trying to look for a ghost or something paranormal or an entity and stuff, and you want to go ahead and push your imagination. I'm out in the middle of nowhere in St. Cloud, and all I got around me is a lake, so it gets quiet. So if you want to let your imagination go wild, you can. You can come up and imagine some things going on in this house. The things that I've pointed out is watching doors open and shut, things being moved. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Now when you start talking about stuff like that, okay, now we might want to do an investigation. And once again, I've done paranormal investigations for like about 5 years, a little over 5 years. I've done investigations from Florida all the way up to Pennsylvania, all the way over to Kentucky. And I'm planning a couple more here shortly. But if some of you people got some things that you might be interested in, or some, I think my house is haunted and I'm in that area, or if you give me good enough information, I might say, the heck with it, just fly over or drive over. I like to drive more anymore now than fly. Flying is a real pain in the rear end, especially when you got this equipment you got to bring around. So, and then some of it's kind of expensive. As a matter of fact, I got all my equipment right here. I usually keep it over here in case during one of my vlogs like this one, somebody wants to ask, or I get into the subject of one of my equipment, I can just go over and pick it out. Any of you guys have any questions or suggestions about anything that you see on any of these shows, the equipment that we use or whatever? I'm looking for other ideas to do this just for the fun of it and enjoying it. I can be any place anytime because I'm retired, and started off this paranormal with the fun of it, and it's been a real blast going to some really, really pretty places. So again, going on another tangent and going back to these TV shows and stuff, and these paranormal, take them with a grain of salt. Yes, they are sometimes humorous. I will agree, sometimes it's like, even myself on some of these YouTubes, and I have emailed Zach Bagans a couple times. I guess I'm not a big enough guy and don't make enough money for him to be worried about. But some of his things that he's showing up on video, I've emailed him or Twittered him and say, hey, can I have a copy of that video so I can take a look at it myself? Because there's some things that just don't look right. And never had an answer. So that goes for that. I guess maybe if I bug him enough, or maybe if I start up a YouTube channel and get 4 million subscribers, I'm liable to get something. I don't know. But so far he hasn't answered me, and there's been a couple of YouTubers that have done the same thing. Let me see the original footage so I can bring it into my machine, and I can do my own analysis of your audio recording or your pictures or whatever. But like I said again, they're starting to do this reenactment stuff as a joke. But again, if the TV people are getting it and people are watching it and they think it's good entertainment, who am I? But another thing I've looked at, you might be interested in, these TV paranormal investigators on the show. These guys get anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 an episode. So you can stop and think about it. If that's the kind of money you were making, what you would do to make sure that the next show is interesting too, and you don't get boring. You would do anything. Heck, I'll lie to you for $50,000 an episode. I'll laugh through my teeth. I haven't. I refuse. That's why I wonder, because I've been through quite a few investigations which turned out absolutely nothing. Zero. Zilch. One of the most frustrating is one of the pieces of equipment that I've got that amazes me that it works so often on some of these other investigators. I've pretty much got the same thing they do. Some a little bit better quality, some a little bit less. I mean, Zach is using these red cameras, and those cameras themselves, those suckers can go from anywhere to $5,000 to now $9,000 a piece. So that outdoes my little old Nikon 5300. But again, the equipment that you got, and so the newer ones, man. Amy Allen, you can Google her all you want to. Her show Dead Files all you want to, and there's a lot of controversy about if she's real or not, and what she used to do before she had the show. I have, surprisingly enough, her cohort, the investigator from New York. I have, surprisingly enough, had a couple Twitter conversations with him, and he'll be really clear and straight up with you. He has never had any kind of a situation. He's never been scratched. He's never heard their voices. Oh yeah, Steve DeJavis. So he'll tell you, he just goes in from a police detective standpoint. He's doing investigation based on facts, and he'll tell you straight up, he's never had any run-ins with any specters or spirits or anything, or things that go bump in the night, or whispering in his voice, or touches, nothing. So I'll give him kudos for that, and that's I guess that's another one of the things that keep Dead Files alive, because you've got both sides. Now, the main thing about it is, they still swear up and down that during investigation the two don't talk, and they don't know what each other had until what they call the reveal. If you've been watching them long enough, you definitely go, is that really? I mean, you sure you don't have a conversation or go over some of the things before your recorded reveal in front of the camera? Because some of the things are just like, nah, you can't know that. And again, the worst and most insulting thing to me is when you got this poor couple that have actually, well, again, these are actors and actresses, and they're boo-hooing and crying, and I got this, and I got a ghost, and I can't sleep at night, and I think this demon's trying to kill me. And she turns around to him and says, well, you are. This spirit's going to kill you. You need to move out. No. That is so wrong. I think she can go around and do a better TV show and just as good going around how it can be done. And some of these things she's come up with. Well, you need to get a male shaman and do this, and you need this person to do that, and you need a Catholic priest to do this. Can you imagine? Come on, people. Can you imagine minding your own business and you walk into a church and walk up to a priest and say, hey, I hired a paranormal investigator and my house is haunted and they say I need to do an exorcism. Would you exorcise my house? They will laugh you out of the church in real life. Now, of course, in Hollywood, okay, everything's different in Hollywood, but not in real life. When I do my investigations, I don't do any of these sages and repairs and stuff and recommendations. No, I just go in and try to find, record, and document if in fact there's a spirit or something there or any kind of an entity, which is really cool. And another thing, I've hesitated from it because of the legalities and stuff that you got to be careful of. All of my investigations so far have been to designated areas that have already been investigated and have been documented to be haunted, and I want to go through again and see what I can find. I've never had anybody approach me, and right now I'm not sure if I would even do an investigation inside somebody's house because the liabilities. For a little while I was working with another group of paranormal investigators who have from time to time had requests from other people to go into their house to do an investigation, and surprisingly enough, they don't tell you that on these TV shows, but there's a lot of documentation they have to sign because of the liabilities. I mean, you can turn that person, and that person can make all kinds of unbelievable off-the-wall claims. The next thing you know, you're in court. So doing a customer or walking into a person's house that they believe might be haunted, no, I have not done any of those as of yet. I'm really not sure if I ever would, because again, I just don't want to get in that kind of liabilities. I'm doing this as a hobby and for fun, and I have some other ideas. So far, my next list, I have a list of things and places I want to go to and do some more. If you have some other ideas or that you're familiar with or know of, let me know, and I might go on over there and pop up and do an investigation. Right now, my eyeballs are on the next either be Chattanooga, Tennessee, which seems to be very entrenched in a lot of our history and a lot of paranormal, and Louisville, Kentucky. And then go from there. I'm going up the East Coast, and now I'm starting to go west. One of the beautiful places I want to go to is New England for Halloween. I was going to do that this year, and things happened that stopped that trip, and ended up doing something else. But I probably next year in October, because up around there they do Halloween all the time. So again, for these TV shows, when you're watching them, they're a lot of fun. They are entertaining. From my standpoint of getting into this paranormal investigator, looking to see if in fact it's true or not, they really tick me off, to be honest with you. They're going more for the paranormal investigator and more towards just a TV show. Man, these people might as well be on sci-fi. But bringing that up while I'm talking about TV shows and stuff, this is an interesting fact some of you might not know about. Again, the pretty much the one that started this is Ghost Hunters, otherwise known as TAPS, and they were on Sci-Fi Channel. And believe it or not, they had a heck of a following, and they were putting in really, really good, and they were making a lot of money for sci-fi. Well, someplace, somewhere, and this is what happened about the history of Ghost Hunters, Sci-Fi Channel, some big bean counter or some bigwig, somebody, whatever, came up to the decision that a paranormal investigator TV show is not sci-fi, and the Sci-Fi Channel is sci-fi. So therefore, we need to discontinue Ghost Hunters. So they walk up to Ghost Hunters and say, you guys are on sci-fi, so we're not going to do it. Now, then why they didn't go to one of the other TV stations, and why they're still, I mean, they've got websites, they're on Facebook and they're on Twitter, but they haven't tried another TV station like Discovery Adventures, Discovery Channel and Travel Channel is big on them. Why they haven't gone to either one of those and continued up, I have no idea. Because if anybody's watched this show, man, they had one heck of a setup. They had like 2 or 3 vans with some really high tech, a lot of money and technology and stuff wrapped up in those vans, and they just suddenly drop it and not do anything. Oh well, I guess maybe they made enough money and they don't want to do it anymore. But they pretty much dropped off the face of the earth, and now you got all these guys, these new people running in. Based on the followings and stuff, from what I've seen, the two real big runners right now, this most likely Dead Files and Ghost Adventures. And I'll give Zach, he's done, as a matter of fact, he's done a couple of these live ones now too. So this ghost hunting live is getting to be a big thing now, and especially when you can go on their website and you can watch, when they have, a lot of times they'll have numerous cameras set up in different areas of where they're investigating. So you can go on, you can watch different cameras that they're not doing during the live show itself, and you can see some things, and you can actually get on the chat and ask questions or make suggestions and stuff, and they'll answer you. And sometimes live on TV, and there's been several instances in which some things have happened or some things were viewed, and they've turned around and gone back to re-verify what's happening. So that is really cool. I mean, when you're watching a TV show and the stars and the people you're interested in, and you can actually talk to them live, and then they can talk to you back and that kind of stuff, you got to admit that's a whole new world as far as television is concerned. So now it seems like also there's a lot of these YouTubers just started doing the same thing. Just like this one on Facebook. They do an investigation and they'll do a lot of it live. So some of it I do live and some of it I'll record it. I've thought off and on, I haven't made up my mind yet, but I'm still ending negative as far as trying to start up a YouTube channel on this. There's a lot of them out there. I don't know if I'll be very, very successful. I really don't care. I will be doing it just for the fun of it. So if I'm going to end this right now. If anybody has any suggestions of some other things to work on, the equipment itself, techniques. There's a lot of things after going through investigations and watching all these. Every investigator, if you look at them, they have different techniques and stuff, and I've been watching a lot of them, of course, coming up with my own, because I have a heavy background in electronics and computers. So a lot of the things I do is different than what they do. And also being in law enforcement, and I was a crime scene investigator for a while too, so do things a little bit differently. So if you have any ideas or places to go to, maybe in Florida or around where you're at, that I could drive up to, yeah, I'll do it. See what happens. And you have any questions about the equipment, techniques, or ideas and stuff, don't hesitate to grab me on Facebook or email me. And if you want to talk privately, we can also talk sometimes on Skype. I'm also on Skype. So anyway, I think I shall end this. I hope everybody had a fantastic New Year's, fantastic Christmas, got what you wanted from Santa Claus. Me, this year, personally myself, throwing my own personal world into this thing, this is the first year since I retired I just said the heck with it and stayed home. Didn't do any traveling, didn't go anywhere, didn't do anything, and I drove myself nuts. So I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen again. So no family and friends. I'm all the way down here by myself in Florida. There's nobody down here. So probably go up some other places, go on some trips or whatever during the holidays. Okay, so I shall call this good night to you, and hope everything is well for you and yours. I'm glad hopefully you've had a good Christmas, good New Year's, have a good life. Love y'all. Bye.